One who does evil secretly is of Satan, and one who does good secretly is an angel. Welcome to the next episode, and we're going to verse 13 of section 2 of Surah Al-Tawbah, Surah 9, chapter 9. Let's go. Allah tukatilu kauman nakathu aymanahum wahamu بإهراج الرسول وهم بدأوا وهم بدأوكم أولا مرة وهم بدأوكم أولا مرة. Will ye not fight people who violated their oaths? Allah tukatilu kauman takathu aymanahum their hope wahamu بالإهراج الرسول and plotted to expel the messenger بإهراج الرسول and plotted to expel the messenger وهم بدأوكم أول مرة and attacked you first, and yet attacked you first. Let me take it in English again. Would you not fight people who violated their oaths, Amanahum, plotted to expel the messenger, and attacked you first? Nakatu plotted. No, Nakatu Amanahum violated and plotted. Hamu plotted Rasul plotted to expel the messenger. And yet they attacked first. Yet they were the first to attack you. It's a question God is asking. بدأوا أول مرة أتخشونهم. Do you fear them? أتخشونهم. Do you fear them? God is ordering them to fight. Do you fear them? Those people who even plotted to expel the messenger. Do you fear them? And yet violated their rules. Do you fear them? أتخشونهم. فالله الحق فالله أحكم فالله أحكم أن تخشوه فالله أحكم أن تخشوه إن كنتم مؤمنين. It's rather God you should fear if you are believers. فالله أحكم أن تخشوه فالله أحكم أن تخشوه. It is God rather whom you should fear more justly if you believe. In kuntum mu'minun. Let's go to the commentary for that. 1261. Uh, 1261. The argument now takes a new turn. An appeal is made to the Muslims on various grounds. One, the shameless disregard of treaties by the enemy. Two, the underhand plots to discredit the Holy Prophet and turn him out of Medina as he had been turned out of Mecca. So you can imagine, they drove him from Mecca, he went to Medina. Medina too, they said they would drive him from there. And why shouldn't he fight, especially when he's commanded by God? Hmm? Uh, as he had been turned from Mecca. Three, the aggressive taking by the Quraysh and their confederates in Medina after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, that's AH 6, Zulqa'dah, February 262, February 6, 28, in brackets. eh? We have in brackets here AH 6, Zulqa'dah, February 6, 28. Mm. So the aggressive taken, well, I'm not very good in English. This is the English dressing, whether the aggression or aggressive, but it is here the aggressive taken by Quraysh and their confederates in Medina after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. I've read that already. February 268. Then four, the manly attitude. And four, the manly attitude that fears God rather than men. Hmm? Four, the manly attitude that fears God rather than man. And five, the need to prove your sincere faith by test and trial and struggle and sacrifice. So, by four, the manly attitude and that fears God rather than man. In other words, even in danger, if God asks them to fight, they must fight. This attitude of fear of God. Hmm? Upon all this, do they fear to fight the unbelievers? Hmm? Did I do five? No, there's no five. Yes, there is five. The need to prove our sincere faith by test and trial and struggle and sacrifice. We are referred to Surah 9:16. Surah 9:16. We are yet to get there. Surah 9:16 because this is 13. This is Surah 13. It is verse 13. We are yet to get to Surah 16. Let's go to Sign Ayah verse 14. It says what? Katiluhum فقاتلوهم ي- قاتلوهم يكذبهم الله بأيديكم. Fight them, and God will punish them by your hands. Fight them, and God will punish them by your hands. God is not going to come down physically and use his hands to fight them. No, it never happens. He's telling them, you fight them by your hands, and God will support you. فَقَاتِلُوهُمْ يُعَذِّبُهُمْ اللَّهُ بِأَيْدِيكُمْ. Fight them, and God will punish them by your hands. Wa وَيُخْزِيهُمْ وَيَنْصُرُكُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ. وَيُخْزِيهُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ. Punish them by your hands and disgrace them. يَزُوهُمْ يَزِيهُمْ, disgrace them. وَنَصْرُكُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ, and help you and disgrace them and help you, and God will help you to victory over them. Alayhim, over them. Alayhim. ويش ويشفي صدور قوم المؤمنون. ويشفي صدور قوم المؤمنون. ويشفي صدور قوم المؤمنون. And over them, and heal the breasts of believers. God will heal, after all this, God will heal the hearts, the breasts of believers, Kulubul Mominun, Allah Kulubul Mominun. I hope I'm not. Yes, Sudure. Here is Sudure, not Kulubul. Sudure, breast, Sudure. And Kulubul is heart inside the breast. Kulubul, Sudure, Kaumil Mominun. And heal the breast of believers. Let's go to the commentary 1262. And what does it say? Heal the breasts of believers, i.e., the wounds that they may have sustained from the assaults, taunts, and cruelty of the enemy. I think even the taunts alone are worse than assaults. Is there somewhere in the Quran persecution is worse than death? Persecution is worse than death. So the taunts are worse than the assaults. So here it says, sustained from assaults, taunts, and cruelty of the enemy. That's the commentary for sign 14. We go to sign 15. ويسهب ويسهب جيزل قلوبهم ويسهب جيزل ويسهب جيزة ويسهب جيزة قلوبهم, and still the indignation of their hearts, still STIL, I think made still, and still the indignation of their hearts. وَيُسْهِبْ جَيْزَ قُلُوبِهِمْ وَيَتُوبُ اللَّهُ عَلَى مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ حَكِيمٌ. And God will turn in mercy to whom to whom He will, and God is all knowing, all alive. Let me take the whole thing again. 15. And still the indignation of their hearts. For God will turn in mercy to those He will, and God is all knowing, all wise. Let's go to the commentary. 1263 and 1264. Yes, so 1263. When the victory comes and the wounds are healed, a great peace comes to the hearts of those who have suffered, striven, and strangled. The fighting was the fighting was necessity. The fighting was necessity, forced by injustice and oppression. Those who criticize the Muslim, Muhammad and his followers, here the commentator is saying, telling us all that the fighting was necessity, forced by injustice and oppression. When God's law is established, the fire of indignation is quelled, Quelled, is quelled, and the true peace of Islam is attained, like it's attained today, for most part of it, if not fully. Okay, 64. Uh, God's mercy is unlimited. When evil is destroyed, many of those who were enticed by evil will come into the fold of truth and righteousness, and the occasion and the cessation of war and conflict will bring peace, certainly will bring peace, certainly to those who fought for the right, but also, let me look where so I don't miss a line, but also possibly to those whose eyes have been opened to the working of God's law, and who, in healing reconciliation, become members of the Brotherhood of Peace in Islam. Uh, we're going to The last verse of section 3. Mhm. And a question here. Am am ya am hasibtum am am hasibtum an tutraku am hasibtum an tutraku walamma ya'lam Allahu allazi allazi jahadu, sorry, allazina, yes, allazina jahadu minkum walam yattahizu min dunillahi. Do you think that you would be left alone while God has not yet known those among you who strive with might and main and take none for worship and protectors except God, min dunillahi? So it's a question. Do you think that you would be left alone while God has not yet known those among you who strive with might and main and take none for friends and protectors except God? In other words, God is aware of them, each one of them, uh, of God and of God except God, His messenger, and the community of believers. It's a question. I didn't finish it. ورسوله ولا يؤمنون ولي ولي وليجة وليتن وليجة آه، والله خير والله خير والله خبير سورة الله والله خبير بما تعملون. And God is well acquainted and God is well acquainted with all that with all that ye do. So God is telling them they shouldn't be discouraged. eh? It is not that He doesn't know those who take Him for worship other than other gods among those fighting. He knows them all. And let's go to the commentary. 1265. 1265. I believe some of the viewers have this edition of Quran with them, and it will be easier for them. If you don't, then you have to pay attention to my videos. 1265. We must all be tested and tried, but God knows our inmost hearts, and He will support those who strive in the way out of sincere love for Him, His prophet, and the body of the true men of faith. That is the end of Surah 2. When we come back, God willing, we will go to we shall go to section 3 of Surah Tawbah. Thank you very, very, very much. I pray that this opens our eyes, uh, particularly those who are likely to be derailed or to be deceived by commentators against the Quran that Muhammad was a warmonger, mere warmonger. It's been clearly explained here. He ran from Mecca to Medina, and they pursued him there. What does he do? What does he do, viewers? He has to fight. So that's why God said, fight them. Fight them. So in other words, they want to get him out of the two homes, out of Medina, out of Mecca first, and then out of Medina. To go where? To go where? So the explanation is all here. People ignore most of the verses in the Quran here, and they pick out the verses that suits their hearts, sudurihim, or qulubihim, and then propagate it on YouTube, TikTok, all over the place. So viewers, this channel will open your eyes to whatever you hear in the news, on video, and whatnot. Thank you very much. Ila likai. Bye bye. Au revoir. May God be with you all.